Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 127 of the Massenomics podcast. I'm here, Tanner, and then Tommy is also here today. Just the two of us again.
What's up?
Just the two of us for two in a row now.
Back in the saddle.
Yeah, it's becoming like old hat now in our new studio.
Yeah.
It's getting easier by the day, I think.
One day at a time.
And you were talking about doing some painting in here.
Yeah, you don't want to do too many things at once, so we got to get accustomed to the room before we start changing it. But
it's like Big Shane says in the gym all the time, you don't want to get too big all in one day.
That's right. Yeah, you got to save something for the next one. You can't do them all at once.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of too big, I do have a confession to make here.
You got too big all at once?
No, I've not had that happen yet. I'm still working on that one. But this weekend I caught the finals for the World's Strongest Man for the first time on TV.
Oh, on TV?
They were on CBS.
On CBS?
On CBS. I actually had to do a double take and make sure that my eyes were working correctly. And then they followed it up with the CrossFit finals, too. So it must have been their one Saturday of the year where they knocked out their fitness programming and then right back to
I didn't know
golf.
That was on.
Yeah, I recorded it, so it's I got it DVR'd,
And it was just the finals.
It was just the finals. So did you actually? I can't remember when we talked about this earlier. Did you actually watch it, or was that just like reading stuff?
I haven't seen it actually.
So you haven't seen the broadcasted version of it?
No, I haven't.
So
I mean, I've seen a lot of videos and stuff, but I haven't seen the actual. Was it the British one or the American? I mean,
no, it was American.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything was in pounds. Like nothing was on kilos on the screen, which is really nice too. I think things might have been in meters for distance, but that doesn't really matter. But it's just funny, like because we kind of got parts of it from Instagram, and we talked about it on the show, like we knew the results of all the events, but to catch how they edit it and everything was good, and it was already yesterday, and I can't remember the order of the events. Was the first one because Martins won the first event, I believe.
See, now it's been a while. I'm having a hard time.
And I cannot think. Oh, the frame carry.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just to watch that one. So tore up like a lot of people's hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, Martins just like killed that one, right? It was Martins.
I think so. I don't.
No.
See, I'm kind of having a hard time. At one point in time, I knew it feels like it's been a long time ago already. Who? I assume Thor and Shaw both did decent on that one, right?
Yep. But
what about Janasia? I think his hands got
tore up really bad. Yep. And that was one where the camera runs up to him.
What about Mateus?
Mateus, yes, Mateus. Yes, that is what I meant. Mateus, Martins, Mateus. These weird sounding. Yeah. But Mateus, he just it was like nothing for him. He just flew by everyone.
Yeah.
And so that was cool to see. So yeah, your frame carry. The first heat was just like stacked, and then after that, I don't.
Well, that's because the first heat is all the. They put all the. For the finals, they take two from each of the heats, like the first and second guy from each heat make it, and then like in the finals, they put all the heat winners together in a group. So like Shaw and Thor and Mateus, because they all won their heat, so they go together in. Like they do the first run or the second run, however they order that, and then all the second place guys go in that second one. So that's why it's like that. I think.
So it was like a night and day difference on watching those. And I'm on the website right now clicking on events just to try and remember what order they went in. And of course they're not in any order at all. But I'm just trying to remember here. Like after that they did like the bus pull or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing there. It goes about like you expect, and like watching a bus pull, it's just you know, nothing too fast is happening, but like Thor and Mateus made it look very easy.
Yeah.
The surprising choice of editing was the axle press or the overhead press.
A lot of times they like edit out at a complete event.
They pretty much edited out that event completely, to the point where it was
show
just
you the results.
It was like it would just show a guy with the barbell above his head and be like 400 pounds, and then it'd show someone dropping a barbell in slow motion, and then it'd show their picture and say how much they did. So you almost didn't get to see any of that event at all.
That kind of sucks.
It was that one kind of surprised. It was just an odd choice of editing, but especially when it's like such a quick event that you could just kind of rapid fire through those. But yeah, they almost do like the montage approach on that one.
I think they usually do that on one event every year. Just, I don't know if it's a time thing because it wasn't an hour long.
Yeah. The funnest one for me to watch out of all of them was the loading medley. And they had Mateus and Thor go against each other. Yeah. And they were like mirror images of each other, like completely matching up until the very, very, very the last thing was the safe.
Yeah.
And even that they matched, except when Mateus set his down, it like bounced and he had to push it back, and Thor was already gone.
Yep.
And I actually had to laugh because this morning I woke up, I was on Reddit, and someone had posted a GIF of that event, and that was on the front page of Reddit. And then someone commented like, "Oh, I actually thought it was the same guy. Like it was just like a double. Someone thought it was like a double, like a split screen. Yeah. Because they matched that close. So that one was really cool to watch. Outside of that, you know, like
what was the deadlift?
There was it was kind of like a Jeep kind of deadlift.
Okay.
And that was
Thor win that.
Thor won that. Yeah. Or did he? No, Brian Shaw tied him. I think they both had 12.
Okay.
I think JF Carone was in second with like 11 or something.
That makes sense.
Or he was the winner or the leader, and then Thor went beat him, and then Brian Shaw went, I believe, tied him then.
Yeah.
But like this is the one where Mateus he had like 3 reps, and he even said before that event started, he goes, "Up next is my deadlift. That's my worst event, so we'll see how this goes." And that was totally like what his downfall was. Is he got I think last in that one.
Who were the TV personalities?
I didn't recognize either one. You know, they always have like your standard like.
Who was the retired strongman? Like, did they? Have,
I don't even know if it was. Let's try and see, because they always have your standard like white announcer guy that's on World's Strongest and like doing his whole thing, and it's like, okay, yeah, he does a good job, but
did they have a woman doing the interviewing?
Yeah, and then a woman doing the interviews, which is always funny because it looks like a miniature person next to the guys.
Yeah. And I did an inside perspective on that is that Kaz has done that job many times before in the past, being that interviewer. And I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but when we were at the Arnold this year, I asked him if he was...
he did have a certain opinion on that.
Yeah, I asked him if he was going to be doing that for World's Strongest Man again, and the answer is no, he didn't do it. Obviously, we're talking about it, and he wasn't there. But I think he would have liked to do it, but...
definitely.
They were not having him, and he had some things to say about that, but I won't get into the details, but...
I can't find. I didn't recognize. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the one guy used to be a strongman competitor, and I just don't know enough about the sport. But there was he was a pretty big guy, whoever he was.
He probably was.
I think his name was like Eddie Hall or something.
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Never heard of him either.
I think Eddie does do the British.
And they had like he was there hanging out, like, and so like you'd see him in the background or on camera once in a while. But yeah. And then speaking of World's Strongest Man,
as long as we're on the topic,
there was a topic that I saw pop up a few times this week.
Yes,
and that is, what if Larry Wheels tried Strongman?
It is an interesting topic. To me, it's a really interesting topic. It's a really interesting idea.
It is, and for a lot of reasons. One, because obviously he's such a strong, incredible strength athlete.
Yeah.
That it always makes you want. It's the same thing. Like anytime you have a really strong man, you wonder what if they did powerlifting. You know, it always makes you wonder. But his training has kind of mimicked, or it's had some more strongman elements to it, especially with like his overhead press
he's
lately.
Been overhead pressing a lot more.
Like a lot
more.
Yeah. So what do you think?
So I guess he overhead pressed 440. Is this most recent one I think he did, and then a strict-ish overhead press.
Strict,
and then Thor, they lifted together like this last week. I think they trained together a little bit. I suppose it's for fun and for social media purposes and everything. And Thor also did a strict overhead press, and Thor being now one of the better overhead pressers in the world in strongman. I think at one point in time that maybe wasn't a strength of his, but at where we've gotten to now, he's almost as good as the people that are.
Yeah, it doesn't
at it,
really
you know?
have weaknesses.
No,
in general.
no, yeah,
Like,
basically he doesn't. And he did a strict 440 overhead press, the same weight, and does it a little bit differently than the way that Larry Wheels does it. And I don't know if one's more strict or the other, but they look different. But they looked about the equivalent of difficult, where neither of them was super easy.
Yeah.
You couldn't have stacked on 30 more pounds and had either of them strict press it anymore, I don't think. But
Yep.
that's just weird to think that Larry Wheels would be strict pressing about the same amount that Half Thor does.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see how that even equates, but
And Larry weighs 275.
so that's the big piece of the puzzle here, where
Right.
there's the discrepancy.
So the question would kind of be I think it's safe to say at 275, in my opinion, it's safe to say that it would ultimately be hard for Larry to be competitive with. Granted, he went out and he and Thor strict pressed about the same, but he would. I feel like he would have a hard time being competitive at 275 versus these guys that are.
You would
built for
think,
this.
yeah, especially with how low his body
Yeah.
fat is. Like,
Right.
Even bumping that up a few percent, I don't think is going to do anything besides help him.
Right. And the biggest thing is Larry doesn't know strongman stuff, and there would be a big learning curve of him
Yep.
having to learn all the events. I think his strength is there.
Yeah, and I think his grip's there too. Like, I've never seen him ever talk about deadlift, like grip
No.
being an
They
issue,
deadlift
and that's pretty.
900 pounds.
Yeah, and that's pretty common. Like in powerlifting, you see on the higher end, like for a lot of people, it's grip starts to be
Yeah.
the issue over strength. And
So-
I've never seen Larry ever post anything about that or
Right.
talk about it.
So some of the big kind of events, at least the static events in strongman, overhead pressing. It sure seems like he's there. He would need to learn how to clean an axle, how
Yep.
to clean a log,
Yep.
how to press a log. But strength-wise, I think he's there. It would just be a matter of learning, some of those technical elements.
Yep.
The deadlift, he can deadlift 900 pounds without,
Yeah.
without straps and.
Yeah,
That's
and I mean
all.
that's like without hitching or any I mean
Right.
that's pretty clean. So you
Right.
got to assume he's going to be competitive with the best of them there.
Right. So I feel like he has no disadvantage there. Squatting, he can squat into the 800 and some pounds. So I think he's
Yep.
not,
Which that
not
is
far
probably
off of
his
that.
biggest weakness when it comes to just
powerlifting
static
is,
straight.
yeah.
Yeah.
You think
You would assume
moving wise he should be able to.
you would think he'd be just as good as anyone,
Yeah.
like because that is probably the biggest benefit of being such a low body fat is
Right.
that he can just move. Like frame carries.
That's what I mean. Like a frame carry or a
or a
farmer's
farmer's-
carry
like,
with
it
a little
seems-
bit of training, wouldn't he be really good at that? you
You'd
would
think
guess?
he'd be as good as anyone.
Yeah.
Like you would assume that.
It would be maybe a grip thing, like depending on how strong his grip really is at that stuff.
Yep.
But then Atlas Stones, another major event, he would probably have a big learning curve there.
Yes.
And that's where, how tall is Larry Wheels? Is he 6'1"?
I think he's right around there. So like that's probably where he's given up the most
Yeah.
because now all of a sudden he is quite a bit shorter than most of them.
Yeah. But I don't know. The biggest limiting factor is his training with strongman stuff. I think it would take like at least a year just to even get to where he
Yeah, I agree with that.
You
Like
know-
you can't, he could show up to just some random meet and do fine,
Right.
but to actually
Well,
like
yeah,
be
he could-
competitive on a big level, like yeah,
Right.
you need to. There is a high level of skill involved with these things, so you
Right.
can't just think he's just gonna go in and clean house. But yeah,
No, I think he could go against amateurs that also weigh 275 and less, and he would do pretty good. Like he would lose some events to like high level amateurs, I think, that just really know the equipment and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but he would be pretty good because he is just stronger than almost every.
Yeah.
I mean, his strength would be shocking, but. To actually, what people are talking about is him competing. That's not what they're talking about. They're
yeah,
talking
it's
about
actually in world
him
strongest.
competing against the world's strongest men,
Yeah.
the super heavyweights. So I think it would be the time of training, and then he has to get heavier.
Yeah.
Like I think he would have to. He could be lighter than those other guys because he's shorter
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But like JF Carone, for example, he's pretty ripped and he's not extremely tall. I don't know if he's maybe 6'2" or somewhere
Is that
around there.
see? And just by judging it, my guess is gonna be like 5'10" maybe.
Well, yeah,
but
it
I have no
maybe
idea.
is. I'm kind of guessing, but that would probably be someone you could compare him to, and we should look up how height and weight of JF.
This
Crone.
says JF Crone is 6'2".
Yeah,
and
okay.
I would have never guessed that.
Does it say how much he weighs? If he's like 325
This
or 3?
says 320, and this
Okay.
is according to.
So give or
Google.
take probably
Yeah.
20 pounds of that. But
Yep.
so that's where I think Larry would need to be, though, is like I think he'd need to gain 50 pounds probably.
Yeah. God, that blows my mind. I always thought JF Crone was like actually one of the shorter guys.
Relatively, he still kind of is, but
But really, he's, I mean,
Yeah,
as
he's
far
not
as powerlifters
short.
go,
No,
he is a
no.
giant. Like
Yeah.
6'2", like
yeah,
320.
yeah,
Man.
he's huge. But I think that's where Larry would need to get to, is that kind of body weight to if we're
Probably.
talking about being competitive with
I
the
think,
world's
yeah,
strongest men.
to be his most competitive self, like that's.
But then, how strong could his static strength
well, and
be
that's
at
yes,
50
and that's
more
what makes you
pounds?
wonder. Yeah, at 50 more pounds, that's a really big Larry now.
It would be. I would love to see it, and so we, like you said at the beginning, we talk about strongmen, what it would be like if they did powerlifting,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the times the reason they say they don't is because there's not the money in it. You know, Thor has kind of said that. Eddie Hall has said that.
Yep.
That why would I do that? You know, I can make money in strongman. So then it makes me think, why wouldn't Larry Wheels
Yeah.
go to strongman? I mean, obviously he's figuring out ways to make money with what he's doing.
I
Anyways,
mean, once he comes out with that strongman programming template, like
how
your Instagram feed is over.
how I set the log press world record, 1990,
the exact
8-week
program I used to break the log press world record.
1999, link in bio.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
And it's just an 8-week program. Like, oh, that's all you did? This is 8 weeks? of
8
that?
weeks. 8 weeks, lots and lots of times.
But so, what do you think? Do you think it's something we ever would see happen? Do you think do you think we will see him do strongman ever?
I don't know, and because I also feel like Larry does have a really strong, like, his image and who he is, his brand is really tied to his physique.
Yes.
And I mean, at 320, he'd still have a pretty awesome physique, but it'd be a very different physique than what he
Yeah.
has right now.
As a strongman, it would be an amazing physique.
Oh,
I'm sure,
absolutely,
you know,
yeah. Like,
where you
because what was like Pujanowski? Like, was he?
I don't. You should almost look at that up. I don't know if he was 300. You know, that would be a comparison I've seen people make. As he'd be like Mariusz Pujanowski.
How do you spell that?
I don't know. I've had to look it
there
up
we go.
before when we've done things. But
You just got to get a few letters right.
Yep.
So
Is he
I don't know what year they're talking here,
Right.
but this says 6'1", 262.
right?
Now
I
Wikipedia
imagine he got a
says
little
6'1",
heavier than that.
313.
Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he was right around 300-ish
That's-
while
yeah.
he was competing.
So yeah, if Larry he's the same height, and if Larry got up to 300, they would probably look kind of similar.
I would
like-
think that'd probably be the
Yeah.
closest physique to the, because I don't know if anyone really has a physique like that since Pujanowski.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think before or after. you
Yeah,
know,
so like Larry would be probably the closest thing you would get to seeing
like
that.
John Paul, the Icelander, he was pretty ripped. You know, he did bodybuilding and stuff too. But
Yep.
he would. I mean, he wasn't like Marius. I don't think. Still
Yeah.
not on that level. But that's kind of what he would look like. But like you said, that would be taking away from just how ripped he really is now. He would not
because he's done the bodybuilding thing.
Yeah.
You know, like he has proven he can do other things.
Yeah, and there's money to be made in body. I think that money is a motivating factor for Larry.
Well, it should
Like,
be because
right.
like this is kind of his livelihood.
Right,
like it's not like a
exactly.
hobby. He's doing like 99.9% of people.
Right. So he doesn't have to do strongman to make money. Between powerlifting and bodybuilding and, you know, his social media following and just everything that he's built, he's got avenues of making money. His programs for $19.99
Exactly. Yeah.
as well. But I would love to see it, but I don't think we probably will either.
Yeah.
It also opens himself up to more injury potential.
For
Like,
sure. Yeah.
And I don't know that he's after that.
Yeah. It's probably from a financial and even branding standpoint, not in his best interest,
Yeah.
but it would be really cool to
Yeah,
see.
it would have to almost be an ego-driven thing in order for him to do it, just to be like, I think I could do that, and I want to prove that I could. But I don't think we will. I would love to, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put it on the wish list.
Yep.
With a Thor powerlifting meet.
Yeah. Maybe they could just trade.
Yeah, they'll do like an exhibition where Thor does a powerlifting
Yeah.
meet and he somehow does World's Strongest Man.
It'll be like
competition.
Nicolas Cage and John Travolta in Face Off, where they.
Exactly. I think this is what they were alluding to when they made that movie.
Yeah, they're ahead of their time. Maybe we could talk about this next.
Ooh,
'cause
yeah,
I
we have
might
something
tap into
a
one of
little
these.
special here.
Yeah. So what we have on the table, if you're listening on audio, you can't see there. We've got a 4-pack of beers is actually what we've got, and I don't know, is a Brut Rosé a beer though?
Well, I mean, technically it's not a beer.
Yeah.
It is a California sparkling ale.
Okay, and then these other ones are IPAs. Is that correct?
Let's see. It says, all right, so we have the Drake's Manufacturing Haze Fluid Control. 1 pint small batch ale for hazy IPA drinkers. Drake's Manufacturing, San Leandro, California.
Okay. So I'm gonna try. Are you trying the IPAs?
Yeah,
though?
I'm a
Not
bit
the-
of an IPA guy
Not
myself.
the Brut Rosé.
Not the Brut Rosé. I'm not, maybe after dinner I'll save that for celebrating this
And,
Labor Day.
What was the name of the brewery? You said it again. But
It's Drake's. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna wrap mine in this Massenomics koozie, of course. It just.
I could go get mine, but then I'd have to leave you hanging here. And
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with myself for that long. That does taste pretty good.
yeah, I approve.
But where the reason that we have this, and I'm talking about it right now, is this came from our friends at Nightmare Muscle. Mike and Ryan are the two guys' name that run that company, and they sent us these beers. They also sent us some of their socks.
These
which
ball and socks.
we haven't tried those on yet, but they sure feel nice, and I like the black and the red, the look on these
Yeah,
socks.
mine actually, I'm taking them out of the package right now.
Ooh.
And I will say packaging is top notch.
Yeah.
Like, that's not overlooked at all.
Nope. And they also sent a shirt, a Nightmare Muscle shirt.
So, if you guys are watching the podcast, these socks, very cool. Love the design.
Yep. I do like their packaging of,
Yeah.
from us coming from, we understand
You know,
how
it's
this all
it's
goes.
the levels of care.
Yeah.
And there's one thing between selling shirts when you just throw it in a box and say, here you go. But
Yep.
a little bit of care kind of makes you feel like they care about the end customer, which we try to do the same thing, and they obviously are here too. So that's always appreciated. And then we have the Nightmare Muscle, no FUKS with a little symbol. They're no fucks given, Nightmare Muscle. Very cool shirt.
And I like that they have the a logo on the back of the shirt. Also.
Yeah, for sure.
So those guys, they're someone that we've talked back and forth through Instagram before, and they're kind of out there doing a similar thing that we're doing, I think. Part of where the conversation came up about this brewery and why they sent us the beers is because I think maybe it started over the Lift Shorts debacle
sure.
of 2018, where we had to give give everyone a lesson in why we charge more for the Lift Shorts than we pay for the Lift Shorts. And they kind of backed us up on that because they are out there doing the same thing where
They
they're
also run a business.
Yes, they also are trying to run a business
That is for profit.
Yes, exactly.
Probably minor profit, but
Much like us. So we kind of they could relate to us, I would say. And then also we were talking to them and mentioned how the two of us both have jobs. If you're just new to the Massenomics party, maybe you don't know that we don't get to just do this. We both have jobs, and those guys are in the same boat where they both have jobs. One of them works at the brewery here, so they sent us this stuff from his brewery and from Nightmare Muscle. I would give them a follow on Instagram if you want to check out their stuff. I think it's at Nightmare Muscle.
Yep. And they definitely have a certain vibe. It's a different, which is, I mean, the cool thing about all this is there's a lot of companies that their branding, it's there, it's stuff, but they have something, but these guys really have a really cool, unique look. And if you get it, I mean, you get it. Like they definitely will appeal to you if that's your type of thing. So yeah, I think they're doing some really cool stuff.
And it's kind of fun because they probably compete in the same space as us. You know, they're selling lifting related stuff. You know, their quote on the socks here is deeper than a rep. But like, and here we are talking about them on our podcast where we sell that stuff, but it's not like a zero-sum game.
No,
it's like
exactly.
If you buy something from them, then we're losing out.
Yeah,
like,
people don't realize that. It's like it's kind of just cool. Like everyone can, and like I said, we have kind of a different vibe too. You know,
right,
it's like
We're
if
not
we were
really
both
the same
doing,
thing.
if we were both kind of doing this. I mean, they definitely kind of appeal to like sort of the old school like monster like crazy look.
Yep.
And which is really cool. We don't really do that because we don't have the skills and know-how like they do to make that all happen. So you know, 2 people can exist, 3 people, 4 people, whatever.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't have to be like all or nothing here.
Yes, exactly. So they're a cool company, and we appreciate them sending that stuff our way.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I'm gonna put these socks to the test soon. And I would say this: I'm occasionally drink IPAs.
You know, my favorite snap that I get from Tanner. Actually, this probably won't make sense to a lot of people outside the region, but there's a beer in the Upper Midwest called Golden Light.
Yes.
I don't think you really find it many places outside the Upper Midwest.
Unfortunately, probably not.
And Tanner likes to send snaps saying, my favorite IPA. And
which it's
in
just
case
very
you,
basic.
it's
light
I mean
beer.
it's like just a cheap Bud Light.
Yeah.
Like I guess if at a bigger level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we do have a real IPA
Yeah, this
here.
McGolden Light is probably still my favorite IPA, but this, but my wife does drink IPAs pretty regularly, and she gave me her opinion on this, and she said I could quote her that she thought that this was a really smooth.
It
IPA.
is. Yep. And that kind of falls into the hazy IPA.
Okay.
I think it does. At least like I've had actually have some hazy IPAs in my fridge upstairs, and I would say that it has the same feel to it.
Yeah.
It's not quite as bitter as like
Yes.
what an IPA can be.
Right.
But still full of flavor.
Yep.
And actually, if we had to be exact, it's heavily hopped with lemon drop. Oh, God, I can't read any words. Mandarina, Bavaria, Bitter Gold, Idaho No. 7, Simcoe, and El Dorado. And enhanced notes of wheat, passion fruit, orange, and pine.
See,
Yes.
I thought I noticed a hint of El Dorado.
Well, but you might get that mixed up with the Simcoe sometimes, though.
We're really giving Chad Wesley Smith a run for his money on our beverage talk the last couple of episodes now.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to have to start like a second and third and fourth podcast, too.
We'll have a adult beverage drink,
Yeah.
adult beverage podcast, an NA beverage podcast. Maybe something else, too, if we come up with it.
I believe one of the more recent episodes of theirs I listened to, he mentioned that it was the Juggernaut Podcast Network. Now he used the
okay.
It wasn't really a joke either. Like I think.
Well, it kind of makes sense because they have like 4 podcasts already.
They do have 4 now.
Publishing under the same one, kind of.
Because it was it's the normal Juggernaut podcast. What's I don't remember what the Jug Life.
Yeah, Jug Life. Yeah.
Then there's his beers with Chad.
Yep. Is he still? I mean, has he actually spun that off into a different one yet, though,
I
or
don't
is it
know
still?
if that one has a different.
I was gonna say it seems like I just the other day still saw another one publishing to that main feed, but.
And then he's got the one where he talks about sports, not lifting. And now Marissa Inda started
Yep, I did see that.
Like a lifting mom, I think, or something like that it was called. So it's
we probably won't be going into that territory anytime soon.
Managing 4 podcasts. At that point, I think we would not be able to have jobs.
No, you couldn't with that. Like to put in the effort into like actually making them somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just fighting right now to keep this thing going.
Just keeping our heads above water. So again, thanks guys at Nightmare Muscle.
Yes. Tanner, you have something here. You kind of being the money man you are.
Yeah.
You had something on the docket here.
Yeah, this does tie into speaking of having to have jobs. I found something that's somewhat relates to my actual job and also related to our typical lifting talk stuff that we do here. And let me find. I did have 1 or 2 notes on this, but the topic is financing programs for equipment. is a new thing I saw lately, and where I saw it was through Kabuki Strength, Chris Duffin's company, that they now offer financing terms through a third-party company for their bars.
Which does make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to think about because I have never seen it before.
Yeah.
But people do spend hundreds, thousands of dollars on equipment.
Yeah.
And people finance.
I mean, people finance like anything. You go on Amazon right now and like.
Right. I mean, people finance television, all that. Oh, furniture, I think, is a huge thing that people finance. But what was the name of that? That financing company. I was curious what that was. I got it here. I think here too. So it's Klarna, is who they use, and I've never.
Are you
going
to give your industry review of how credible they are?
Well, I've never heard of them before, but I just kind of get the feeling that if they partnered with them, they're probably pretty credible. And what they're offering is you can pay 6 to 12 months with 0% interest if you qualify. And I'm sure there's a application you fill out, probably pretty basic, name, social security number, and all that. And I'm sure they pull a credit report, and that's what they're basing their
and making sure that you don't owe hundreds of thousands of dollars in overdue money.
I'm sure it's score based, so it's pretty simple. Say if you have like over a 700, then you qualify for their financing. If it's under, then you don't qualify. But
is that standard?
I just was throwing out a number, but I guess what I do, we look at a little bit more than that. But I assume for what they're doing, that's pretty basic and pretty simple.
Yeah.
But just the idea of that, me personally, even at 0% interest, so 0% interest, that means it's not costing you any more than it is to pay it right now. You're just paying over the course of time.
Yep.
But I just don't like financing. I don't like.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great, and like for people that can and might need to use it or just prefer to use it, especially at 0%. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I guess if you got really in the weeds, there's maybe things on like people pulling credit reports that I think can maybe do stuff to your credit score. Is that a thing?
Yes. Someone just pulling your credit report, just checking it, that does ding you. So every time you apply for financing or a credit card or anything like that, that does lower your credit score a little bit.
Like, just seems like the dumbest thing ever, kind of.
Kind of, yes.
And so, like, just
not a huge amount, but like it does.
And as someone that actually just went through like, I just got a new piece of furniture or have it on the way, and it was like, oh yeah, you can do financing. It's like, yeah, you know what? That sounds easy. Like 12 months, no interest. Like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then it came time to like, oh, just do this paperwork, do this. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna pay for this.
See, we're also I was looking at buying a new recliner, and so you could. A lot of the places I checked, you could either get 0% financing for so long or low percent financing or whatever. But if you just paid, you can get it for a lower price. So even though you're getting 0% financing, if you term it out.
Oh yeah. Typically, paying up front because it just cash flows.
So it's still costing you more to get it on terms like that. And I don't know. Even furniture and lifting equipment, I think, are relatable to me in this discussion, and
it's one of the things that it's a bigger expense. It's not at a house level, obviously.
It's
not an automobile level, and this kind of falls into that third tier down of expensive stuff that's not a house or car.
Right.
I mean, there's just a lot of things that fall in that kind of like $500 to maybe $5,000 range.
Yep.
And that's where they are.
But I think it's probably a good program, and if you really wanted something like a Duffalo bar, so if you finance it out over 12 months, you end up paying $50 to $60 a month. That's not that big of a payment. That's probably something people can do versus throwing out $600 just for a bar.
Yeah.
It's something that, like for Massenomics Gym, could make sense because we're on a monthly budget of memberships coming in, and you kind of know how many that's going to be. And so maybe if instead of spending a grand up front, maybe it's easier just to budget out $100 over a month.
Yeah, keeps your cash flow a little better in case something comes up.
But even just the way I am personally, I wouldn't do it. I would just I do the opposite. If I want to buy something that costs $1,000, I save
until I have 1,000 on me, and then just be done with it.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm of the same mentality. That's probably not.
That's not
probably not the norm by any means.
No, it's not. It's not. And there's nothing. especially at 0%, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that.
I don't think so either. No.
Yeah, I think that that's okay, and for some people it could be really beneficial. It could be the
Yep.
way that they do it, but
Yeah, there's just something that rubs on my conscience about like owing money on anything besides like a house. Like
right. If you finance a couch for 3 years, 3 years from now you're going to be like, I'm paying for this couch that does not even
at
seem
this
new
point,
to
at
me.
this point,
It's
the
broken.
dogs peed all over it. Your friends have puked on it,
Yes.
and you're still paying money for it like it's a brand new couch. Yeah, that one's tough to deal with.
Yeah,
And on top
a
of that-
barbell. So
Yeah.
I mean, 12 months isn't that big of a deal, but
No.
6 months isn't a big deal. I can see doing it, but I don't know. I would be with the gym. Would be in a position of someone who would really make
Would take
sense to
advantage
use
of the
that, and I
finance.
still don't think that I would because
Because we already have all their bars, though. That's the
not
problem.
the transformer bar.
Oh, that's right.
I always have a list
And-
of like a wish list.
Well, you got to, yeah.
Yeah,
you
like,
you gotta
what-
you gotta know what's out there
Right.
in case something,
And
you
the
know, in case like a $10,000 check drops on the desk. You got to know how to burn that immediately, right?
Exactly. And that's the goal, like to get rid of it. You don't want that just sitting around. You
got to put that money to work for you.
But the transformer bar would be on the list.
How much is that one again?
500-ish.
Oh, I actually thought it'd be worse than that. So
No.
really, is the Duffalo bar or is the Duffalo bar or the Power bar the most expensive one?
I would say it's either the Duffalo or the squat bar if that's for sale now.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know they had that one yet.
Yeah,
Let's
they-
take a quick look here, just because.
or the deadlift bar. I know they're. I don't know which one's
Ooh,
that.
new generation squat bar starts at $720.
Yeah, so that's their most expensive.
and I
bet
suppose depending on your coding, it goes up from there, right?
then. Yeah. So you could probably
So-
have $800 into.
Because
their
they
squat
don't
bar.
have the deadlift bar on here yet.
Okay, so and I wonder if that.
If that's going back into R&D.
Right. I don't know the specifics of it, but I believe at the current U.S. Open they used that, and there was maybe some.
The most expensive new generation squat bar is the nickel plating,
Yep.
and that'll run you $799.99.
So $800.
But as low as $71 a month with
That's what I was just gonna say. If you
Klarna.
find, and then you do think like, oh, $71 a month, like that's not that much, you know.
I can't afford to not have this thing. Like,
It would literally be costing
I
us
mean,
to not buy
if you
it
told
that
a lot of
time.
people your squat could go up for $71 a month, they'd probably be like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Yeah.
I don't think this bar will make your squat go up, but
Unfortunately, we've learned through every way possible that the equipment probably doesn't make it. I've bought in just about every piece of equipment that's been made, and none of them have really.
But has your total gone down over that
no,
time?
I have gotten a
So-
little stronger over the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it probably is from all the
you have to assume it's due
Yeah.
to the equipment and no personal difference or training
No,
methodology.
Exactly. But I do think that's kind of cool, and I would be surprised if we didn't see Rogue Fitness.
So
having
that
a
was my
program
question: is
like that.
Rogue doesn't have anything like that
Not
right now?
that I know.
Which that
if
is
they
actually
do,
really
they don't advertise it much because I've
that's
never
actually
seen
really
it.
surprising to me
Yeah.
because they're the ones selling like the full rigs and everything where
Right.
you could
drop $5,000.
Oh, you could
10
drop
grand,
20
yeah,
grand easy,
right.
and like I'm sure that they would love to get you on a financing program. Where they
That's
just,
where financing could, like say a new CrossFit gym is opening up, and
But maybe I don't know. Maybe like $20,000 plus financing programs isn't something they want to get into as a business model either. Like, 'cause
Right.
That's some pretty heavy duty
the
stuff too.
thing there is they have to their credit standard has to be high enough that they're making money. That maybe it's like 1 out of 100 is going bad. Like they can
Yep.
tolerate 100 of them going bad because
Yeah.
they're making enough money on the interest on the rest of them that it works, and the margins of the
So
product,
that'd be
but-
a scary one though with
Yeah.
CrossFit gyms too. The way they can just bust.
Yeah,
And then
like,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I don't think Rogue's hurting the way they're doing it right now.
Right.
So they're probably in no hurry to change.
But I would be curious to see if they ever did do something
Yeah.
like that, or maybe even Titan, I guess.
Yeah, Titan or I don't
Elite FTS.
I would say elite would probably make sense too
Yeah.
because they do sell some bigger things like that. But-
Right.
Huh.
We, however, do not yet offer financing programs for Massenomics apparel.
Lift shirts, yeah, I know.
But just think, if you termed a lift shirt, a $22 lift shirt, out over 12 months, I mean, you'd be talking like less than about $2 a month is all it would cost you.
Yeah. That's like for less than the price,
Price
of a cup of coffee. I mean, we'll put it in terms people can relate to
Yes.
here.
Per month.
Yeah.
So per day, that's like, I mean, you could just
Pennies,
like a
like
nickel.
almost pennies, yeah. You probably throw away more change in a day.
So what's more important to you, like saving animals or saving like starving kids in foreign countries or getting another lift shirt?
Now, there's it's priorities.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
It's something we could work on.
you need to buy more lift shirts. I
Yeah.
guess is what we're trying to get to
Yeah.
here. It's still good, Tanner.
Yep. It's
IPA's
still
holding
smooth.
up.
Yep.
Did we have some results from the tribute meet that we missed possibly?
Yeah, and
Actually, we were really quick on the horn last week,
Right.
to the point of, and that was because Bossa Bosses, they literally had them up like the day of,
right.
and we were not even a full 24 hours out and saying we couldn't find the results because, 24 hours out you can't find them, but they actually did, going back, get the results up pretty fast.
Yeah, so it's not that we missed the tribute meet results. It's just like you said, we just they didn't exist yet to our knowledge, and we even did caveat that when we were talking about world records that were being broken at Bossa Bosses. We said, the tribute meet's going on here, so there might be some stuff out there that might affect those records or might make other records better than them. But so did you find the results?
Yep.
there
So they
too?
are on
Yeah.
Open Powerlifting. They have the full
they're
meet on
there
there.
now. So that the gal at the top there. So one of the things we said on the last episode, we said Steffi Cohen broke the all-time Wilks, men or women, in sleeves.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if she did it first or not.Maybe she did have that record.
I think
for a
she
little
probably
bit.
had it first.
Okay.
But then this, and I don't even know how you say her name. Is it Mariana Gasparin?
And that's it. I don't know that very well either. Like we probably should know it since she's one of the, if not like the best powerlifter
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
You could certainly argue that she's the best powerlifter in the world. I think she'd
Yeah.
be in the discussion. But she has been up there before too. I think they've traded back and forth a few times.
Yeah,
now,
and
maybe.
actually, I think if you check the all-time rankings, she does have the highest Wilks of all time.
So that would be in wraps, is that she's got the. So now
Yep.
she has the highest Wilks in wraps and the highest Wilks in sleeves. So it would almost be hard to argue that she's not the best power lifter.
Yeah,
I mean,
and actually, so the kind of the crazy thing too, though, her all-time highest Wilks, I know it's hard to keep numbers in mind over audio, but her all-time highest Wilks was with a 562 squat, 275 bench, 462 deadlift. This last meet, her squat was much lower because it wasn't with wraps, so 45, but her bench was 286 and her deadlift was 487, so that bench is 11 pounds better, and that deadlift was 12 pounds better than her best meet. So
okay.
that makes you see that if
So
she
her
did have those
wraps-
numbers with wraps, she would have again.
Maybe 675.
She would have had she would have again broke the Wilks record if she had
Yeah.
wraps on that meet.
And she lifts at 130 pounds, so in the 132 class, so the class above that Steffi usually lifts in, the
Yep,
123.
Yep.
I don't know why we don't know more about her. I guess for sure. I'm not sure.
I think it's because she's Russian, a little bit.
Yes.
Like
But does she live in the United States? Maybe.
She,
or-
I don't know. She does a lot of
Yeah.
meets in the U.S.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So what? So
I mean, she does meets basically in the U.S. or Russia.
yeah.
That's pretty much where she's at.
Another person in the tribute meet that we hadn't mentioned before then is Jeremy Hoornstra. He benched 650 pounds, and I would bet that was in the 242 weight class. I don't know if maybe he lifted bench only. He was talking about doing full power, but I know he kind of had some injury issues. He's had kind of maybe a string of injury issues even here because he was at the animal cage this year, and I don't think he was able to bench like he was hoping to.
Yeah.
Does it show?
So
he did do a full meet.
Yeah,
then.
he squat 606, bench 650, deadlift 628.
So his bench press was his biggest lift. But he is
pretty
injured.
awesome.
Yeah, he is injured for I don't know what exactly, if it's his back or what it is, but 650-pound bench, I believe that was a world record. So maybe I bet it's the 242 bench press in a full meet world record.
I'd be willing.
Yeah,
to
I
bet
mean,
that's what it
it'd
is.
be hard to for it to not be.
Right.
I mean, if we dug around on open powerlifting, we could find that right now. But
Yeah.
everyone would just be sitting listening to us clacking around, so it's not.
So we talked to the guys at Squat to Depth Apparel, and they were there at the meet, and I was curious how the meet went, from the perspective.
Well, especially with like a brand new meet too. There's always a lot of variables.
Right, and he did mention that there was problems with the live stream. They actually shut it down. And did you touch on this last time?
I think we talked about it off air. Is that it shut down for maybe
Bad
a few
commenting?
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
think
like
there
that.
was some maybe some trolling or some heckling going on in the live stream.
But he said at Squat to Depth, they said from an audience perspective that it was awesome, that it was great in person, and it went the meet itself went really well, and it ran really smooth.
Which makes you think. I mean, they already plan on doing one next year, and so I would imagine that they'll take everything they learned from this one, and it'll only be better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just getting one under your belt is a big hurdle to get over.
Yes. And I think we already touched on CC's her big day, CC Holcomb, what she did. The other one was Jen Rostinger.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first in her weight class to hit a 1,000 total. So what weight class is she?
She's in the 114.
Okay, so a very light weight class.
Yeah.
She totaled almost 1,020.
Yep.
So that I assume was a world record then. The one other one that I thought was worth noting was Brian Hartzell is his name. He's Traps Like Mountains on Instagram. He's been seen wearing a lift shirt before.
Ooh.
He is a monster.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Yeah, I did see this one.
How many followers does he have on Instagram?
Not very many.
Yeah.
2,700.
I don't know why it's not higher.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's right around like a 900 squat and 900 deadlift both. And
that last that was where I wasn't familiar with him until just kind of scrolling through some stuff randomly. I saw his last deadlift attempt. Did you see that video?
it looked like a pretty good deadlift to me, wasn't it?
Yeah, like he didn't get. I don't think he got the down call. I think is what it was. But
it was a 903 deadlift.
I don't know if I've ever seen 903 move up like, and it was conventional. Like I don't. And he's a big dude too. Like that much weight and move that far that quick.
Yes.
Like it was, for whatever the reason was that it didn't get called. If he has a good day, it makes you think like there's a lot more in the tank there.
That's the squat to depth guy's comment was, I've never seen 903 put down so gently. Like he's so strong that to him the weight, like he's not dropping it down violently. Like it just is a nice set down.
Yeah, and so we got the video loading right now, and he is about to.
He is a monster too. Like
God, it looks so easy.
It's a good. I mean, it wasn't considered a good lift, but
yeah, I don't know if they said maybe soft knees or something.
I think that's what it was.
Oh, but still, I'd be shocked if he doesn't have that and more in his next meet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's on the way up. And what did he total over 2,200 maybe as it was even?
Yeah, his total was 2243.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I could see him, breaking 2,300 soon. I would sure think.
Yeah. Yeah, because his last deadlift that he actually got was 876. So I mean, already there he has almost 30 more pounds.
25 more pounds. Yeah, 30 more pounds. Yeah.
Just on his deadlift.
Yeah.
So he is 30 though. I mean, I had no clue if he was like a younger guy or what, but I think that's totally in the books. 2,300 is definitely possible.
Yeah. So that was kind of some of what we missed on the tribute meet last time. It'll be old when you're hearing this now, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning that what we kind of did miss when we were covering Boss of Bosses. What about our special weekly thing?
Ooh. Do you have something special for us?
Yeah, I've got a special thing.
You got a special thing for us.
A recurring weekly segment, the Open Powerlifting Stat of the Week. We've got another one coming at you.
They don't stop.
Nope. Every week we said we're going to do it, and we're doing it.
You're thinking, God, they've already given us 3 stats. There can't be more than 3 stats.
No.
Oh, no, we've given them 2.
Yeah, this is the third.
Oh, 3 stats.
Yeah, this is the third. And so I'll read through this whole stat, and then we can discuss it.
Okay.
Because what I want here is a sound bit that we can utilize for Instagram here, so we can put it out, because what I get in my habit of doing it is reading it and then commenting
while we're reading it.
Yeah, right,
okay,
right.
yeah, yeah. So I'll give you a clean read through.
Yes,
Okay.
So this is the Open Powerlifting Stat of the Week on the Massenomics podcast. In their database, there's a total of 734,481 total lifters meets competed in. 603 times there's been doping disqualifications. That's 0.08%. 43,671 disqualifications. That's 5.95%. 1,414 guest lifters. That's 0.19%. 110 no-shows, 0.01%. 345,791 first place finishes, 47.08%. 116,684 second place, 15.89%. 65,000 third place, 8.9%. 42,000 fourth place, 5.8%. 29,000 fifth place, 4%. 21,000 sixth place, 2.9%. 16,000 seventh place, 2%. 12,000 eighth place, 1.6%. 9,000 ninth place, 1%. 6,810th place, 0.9%. That is the open powerlifting stat.
So my takeaway is you're in rarer territory doing less than third place on a powerlifting meet than.
Yeah, you're in 47, 57, 62, and 9 is 72. You're in the bottom fourth if you get less than third.
So you're doing some pretty rare stuff. And I'm happy to report that I've been in that. I'm still in that spot regularly. So
but
did I hear? Was it 47%?
Yes.
So that is the most amazing one.
The
47. There's a 47% chance that you will be first place.
So to recap, that is the line is bolded, underlined, and highlighted here.
You kept going, and I thought I definitely heard that wrong. But
no, so there's 734,408 total lifters.
Yep.
In the database. 345,791 of those times they have gotten first place at their meet that they're competing in, which is 47.08% of the time.
Like you would normally think, like statistically, that's not even possible.
That really justifies the conversations that we've had on here before
about like weight classes and age splits and just all of that stuff. Yeah,
that is crazy.
That is. It doesn't seem. It seems like I mean,
but like, how
you
can half of the people be getting
there's
first?
at least three
Two
people in an event.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, 3 people means like first is 33% of the time.
So the first place is almost half of them.
Yep.
And then looking all the way to the bottom, 10th place was only 0.9%. So that's just under 7,000 people.
It's just so 10%, that has to be like national meets, basically, right?
That's pretty much the only way that can come from, because anywhere else, I don't know what class you're falling into that has 10 people.
That's that deep.
Yeah, that would be an enormous meet to get that deep compared to average, I would think.
Yeah.
There was 603 doping disqualifications, but we know that out of the field, that's really only
essentially applies to like one kind of federation,
right.
really.
IPF, USAPL, the national versions of USAPL.
You still would think like
there'd be more.
I don't know how many years of data they have for the IPF, but
you'd think there's more.
With how big of a pool, you would just assume a little more than that.
Yeah. There's 43,671 disqualifications. We said that's about 6%, but I think that a lot of that is bombing out. Missing your openers and never getting that weight. I think that's a relatively high number, 6%.
People are bad. People are bad at attempt selection.
Yeah, 6%. That's.
I mean, statistically, 6%. It's a surprisingly high number.
Yeah. That's kind of the highlights of the open powerlifting stat of the week. That was a good one, a really good one. They haven't disappointed for 3 weeks now, and I bet they won't disappoint in the upcoming weeks.
They keep setting the bar higher and higher.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're into this stuff, follow them on Instagram. They have lots of posts like that. And also check out the website. They are like the resource for free open powerlifting. Like their name says it all. Like this stuff has existed to some extent, definitely not to the degree they have done it, but a lot of times it's not free and readily accessible. And that is the one thing that they have going on for them.
I don't think it's ever been this easy to find, easy to use
Yep.
as what this is. And certainly it's never been this comprehensive as what they're getting now. And what about supporting them?
Yeah.
It is free, but they do have ways to support them.
Yeah, it is like a completely volunteer-run organization. So if you like the path they're on, the mission that they're supporting here, you can check them out, openpowerlifting.org, or on Instagram, Open Powerlifting, and send them a DM, send them an email, and you can contribute by entering meets, if you know programming or any variety of anything that you think you could bring to the table. I'm sure they are more than ready to hear any ideas. So also, if you want to support them financially, you can hop on. They have a Patreon account where you can pledge a certain amount of money every month and do some cool things like color your name differently. And
Yes.
they also have T-shirts too. So if you want to be repping the brand,
Yep.
you can hop on their store and support them that way.
And make sure another help you can do is just getting them meet information. If you
Yeah, and
notice
that
something's
actually
not on
probably
there-
is, out of all of this, probably the most important one is just
Yeah.
getting meet information to them.
Yeah, if you click on your name when you're in there, it shows your best meet results, and it shows all of your meet results that are in there. If you notice, hey, this is missing these 2 meets I did early on in my career, let them know. Especially let them know if you can find a somewhat official summary of those meet results, because they'll get those put in there relatively quickly.
Yep.
So that's Open Powerlifting Stat of the Week. Thanks, guys, for doing that for us again. We appreciate it. It's a good segment for us.
Yeah. We're kind of getting down there on time, aren't we?
Okay. What about we do have a order of lift shirts coming in.
Hot off the press.
Yeah, we've been out of a few sizes here now lately. It's tough to get our timing down to get them reordered and get everything back before they sell out. It's I think we've been out of mediums and a few other sizes. So by the time you're listening to this, actually, we have them back in stock. And we have them so much in stock that we are not even going to run out for a while, I don't think.
No, but that doesn't mean you should wait to order.
No, that's true. Let me rephrase that. We could run out any minute.
We ordered only
now.
a few, so
Yeah.
you better get one of them.
Yeah, I don't know what that first thing I was saying was, though.
You're probably thinking of something
Yeah, I was
else.
thinking of something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would order them right now for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to wait on these.
But we do have those back in stock, every size from extra small all the way to 4XL.
Ooh,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yes. Oh, pretty much fits everyone. If you don't fit into that category,
We want to hear from you.
yes, let us know. I'd be curious to hear your story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what brought you to the Massenomics podcast. And then talking about that, something cool that we added is we do have Canadian shipping available now.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Our neighbors to the north.
Yeah, as far as I know, we can ship anywhere to Canada. If you live in Canada, please order and test us on that.
Yeah.
We haven't.
You'll probably, actually, Canada people, you'll probably even get maybe a special gift.
Yeah,
A special surprise in your package.
maybe some syrup or maple syrup.
Or maybe we'll surprise you with some American things, like maybe Tanner will run to McDonald's
That's
and
stuff that they don't know about.
yeah,
American stuff
yeah,
like
some American contraband.
like
So-
obesity.
Tanner will send you the free ebook on the American Guide to Obesity. We must spread the message.
Expensive health care.
So yeah, order now, and if you are some of the first Canadian orders, those could be yours.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we also have international ship. Not just
What?
Canadian. Full-blown international.
Like across the ocean, are you telling me?
We will now send our stuff across the ocean. I don't know how it gets there. I don't know how that really works, but we're willing to do it.
We know no bounds.
Yeah. So, we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we haven't. You could be the first international shipper.
I'll tell you this, if you are the first person to order internationally, we will give you a free gift of some sort.
Yeah.
It might suck.
Like, we don't get your hopes up too high. I mean, it will be something free.
Yeah,
more
it will-
than what you initially asked for. But
It won't cost you anything above the price of the item and the expensive shipping that it costs to get it from here across the Atlantic Ocean.
But when you hit add to cart, you're going to get more than what you hit
Yes,
when you hit
yes.
add to cart.
So do test us on that. And that is pretty cool that we're able to do that. A lot of people over the last several months have asked us when that's going to be available. A lot of Canadian people and some international have asked that. So it is available. I don't know. Maybe there's some odd countries out there that we're going to have problems sending
Have
to.
you heard
but-
about this trade war thing?
That's
Does
a
that
good
mess it up?
point. That is a good point. I don't know how we fit in as far as tariffs, etc. go.
Yeah.
We really don't know how that works, but I think
Well, I guess with a trade war, they have to send something else back to trade evenly. Is it?
that's how that works.
Maybe I'll write the White House and
Yeah.
get an in-depth answer on it.
We'll find out for sure.
Okay. Well, is that it for today?
I think that's it. Things Massenomics for you to check out aside from our lift shirt that's back in stock. Check out everything on our website. We still have some huge life shirts available. Not a lot. They're getting down
Not many.
there.
And that one is, once that one's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, so if you do want a huge life shirt, get one now. We've got some select sizes of our 2018 Massenomics Strongman Showdown shirt available.
At a significantly reduced price.
Yeah, a very fair price. If you want a Massenomics shirt but don't want to pay full price, that would be the one that you should go after right now.
Yep.
And once those are gone, they're gone too. So if you want one, jump on that now. We have the lift shorts, which have remained a hot seller despite us overcharging for those. People are still buying them. We got the Flex Flask back in black in all three varieties. So we have the lift Flex
Would you
Flask
say it's back in black?
Back in black. AC/DC said it best. So check out everything on the store. Check out our YouTube channel. All our videos from our Arnold interviews are there. All of these podcast videos are on there in full living color of our new studio here.
Mhm.
The lights look bright and looks good on video, so check it out if you never
Under the
have.
studio lights.
And subscribe to us on YouTube if you could. Those numbers keep growing, and that's kind of fun to see. Check us out on Facebook. We put out our new articles, anything new with our apparel. We funnel that through Facebook. Also, we did have a new article out this week. Check out our website. You can read all our articles. This one was about weight classes in women's powerlifting. So if you're interested in learning more about that, we're kind of the go-to source.
We are the definitive
Industry
source.
experts,
Now,
I would say, on weight classes
We've
for
probably
women's
written
powerlifting.
one more articles than previously existed on the internet.
So check that out and leave us a comment on there if you got anything to say about it. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts for the for the podcast here. We'd
love to read those.
Yeah, last week we had a bunch of good ones to read. This week the number went up, but there's none available for me to read. That's a weird issue that happens. I don't know. I think it's maybe because if you use vulgar language, it doesn't.
It doesn't really?
That's the one thing I've heard maybe people say before that it'll register as a number, but you won't.
So you have to get
see.
more creative with your.
Yeah.
You can't go with the traditional vulgarity.
No F-bombs.
Yeah, you have to be more thought. When you're our audience, we know
Yeah.
you're a creative bunch, so you can think of a way around.
You can do it. Besides that, check us out on Instagram. Tommy, what do you got?
At Tomahawk_D.
All right, and the Massenomics Instagram account at Massenomics.
Later.
Stay tuned for another one.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.